Hey, what's up guys, Steven here and welcome back to another video, and today we're taking a closer look at the Tesla Model Y performance. Now this one is from the GIGAFACTORY in Berlin, so it's kind of made in Germany. And if you follow me for a longer time, as you might know, I'm driving a Tesla Model 3 long range, the pre-facelift version from 2020. And this year we got our baby. So there's now me, my girlfriend, plus the kid. And when we go on trips, it's a little bit tight in the Tesla Model 3. So today in this video, I want to show you how the Tesla Model Y feels as a family car, and especially also talk about the space, how it is to go on trips with an electric car, and also a little bit of the differences between the Tesla Model 3 and the Tesla Model Y. So let's have a closer look and let's go. Well guys, it's time to give you a little kind of hands-on tour of the Model Y performance. So this is a fresh one from the Gigafactory Berlin-Brandenburg, so in Grünheide, and it has less than 2,000 kilometers, so it's really brand new. And I was driving it for the last week now, around 1,000 kilometers. Now on my Model 3 long range, I have around about 40,000 kilometers. So for me, driving a Tesla was not something new, but the Model Y in general was new, and I'm really surprised. Now, many people complain about the gaps. So, this now is kind of made in Germany. And for me, you know, my Model 3 is the pre-facelift version, and the gaps, especially between the bumper here, they are much bigger. So this Model Y actually looks really good assembled. So at the first look, I cannot really see something that bothers me. Now maybe here you can see a little bit bigger gaps. You can look inside here. Anyhow, driving a Tesla is such a great experience. Now the performance is amazing. It's cheaper to drive than a normal petrol car with that much horsepower. So for me personally, having a little bit bigger gaps than compared on, let's say, a BMW 7 Series is not a big thing, because the whole package of this car is just simply amazing. So if you look at the car from the front, pretty much looks like a Model 3, right? But as you can see already, it's higher, and you will definitely see that when you're inside in the car. Now from the side, the front, well, it looks a bit bulkier, and the back, as you can see, you have plenty of space here. Now don't be fooled by the looks. It maybe looks like some kind of SUV, like a Range Rover or something, but this is a really sporty family car, and it's kind of low. So we have a very steep garage entry in Slovakia, and I always scrape a little bit with the Tesla Model Y. I don't know what it is. It's some plastic under. Now, it was not really bad, but every time I hear that sound, you know, my heart just breaks. Anyhow, maybe it's the mud guards, because they are really low, but they come now by default. The same for the sticker here on the paint in the back. Now, this is sometimes a little bit of pain to clean, but it's a kind of protection. Many people complained that stones were shot from the front wheel onto the back door, and yeah, of course, damages the paint. So this is why there's some protection right now. You barely see it, it's a little bit ugly, but it does the job of protecting it very well. Now on the Model Y performance, we have those amazing looking wheels. They are 255, 35, 21 inch. Really huge, but that's scary to me. If I would have those 21 inch wheels, I would always be like so worried to scratch them, because they're damn expensive. Now we have the huge brakes, as you can see. We have here the red Tesla calipers, also in the back. I think it looks really beautiful. I so love it with the white and those wheels. That's actually my favorite color. Now, Tesla has many beautiful colors, but basic white is so classy. Other than that, Model Y has also the same facelift cosmetic things like the Model 3. So we have here now no chrome. Everything, as you can see, is black. Mirror base here is black. All the handles are black now. They are not just painted on the outside, it's completely black, as you can see. And also here, black, no chrome at all. So I think for me, it looks more clean. My girlfriend prefers the chrome look, but I actually love the facelift look. Now, the window tint, as you can see, is also from the factory. It's a pretty dark tint. I think I have 85% or something in my car, which looks not that dark like the default one from Tesla. And what's really nice is that you see it's completely black, and black here, you don't see that it's tinted or something. And on my Tesla Model 3, because it didn't come with the window tint, you see that the tint actually stops somewhere here. Because you cannot just tint everything, otherwise the glass could crack from the additional heat from the sun. So it's much better that it's now tinted by the factory, so you don't have any issues with warranty, legal issues. So that's pretty good. Now, looking at the rear, we have this really nice, what do you call it, rear bumper diffuser kind of plastic thing here. Now I think it gives it a kind of sporty look. Dual motor, because the performance model also comes with this tiny chrome spoiler here. And if we open up the trunk, this is why the Model Y is such a bestseller, kind of. You have so much space here. Now, at the first look, it doesn't look like you have so much space, but it comes now with this thing that you can just, you know, fold back. And I just placed some towels because I didn't want to scratch anything. And down here, as you can see, there is plenty of space. So here you have your charging cable, you have the Tesla charger, and here there's space for two kind of big backpacks. You have also space here on the left side and on the right side. So here I usually put some bags from shopping or something. And there is another plate that's a bit hard to get out. Okay guys, so I just needed two hands to do that because this was a bit complicated. As you can see, you can fold this up and then you have some more space down here. So here is usually that triangle, then the first aid kit and everything. So it's under this plate right over here, which you can also remove if you want to. So in general, as you can see, you have plenty of space here. But if you need more space, you can also release the back seats. And I now need to check which one is which one, because on this one we have actually our baby seat. Oh, that's the wrong one. And as you can see, automatic folds up and you have plenty of space. So not only for family purposes, also if you go to IKEA, you want to take some new table or whatever, you can fit it in the Model Y. So there is really plenty of space. Now talking about the child seat, of course you have ISOFIX, so you can mount the base here. I'll put this back. As you can see, it attaches in here to the seat. And what's pretty cool about the Model Y is that the seats can also be inclined. So I'll quickly show you that. So if you use the release right over here, as you can see, you can push the seat a little bit to the front. This maximum like here, then you can also completely fold. But the cool thing is that you have several kind of steps. If you want to sit more straight in the back, you just put it like this. It gives you also more space in the trunk. And if you want to really put it back to relax, you put it completely back. And yeah, then you can really relax here in the back. And as you can see, there is plenty of space in the rear. So usually here we have the baby seat, and still it fits the baby bag, another backpack. So really a lot of space. Now from the other side, it's a little bit easier to see actually. So let's put it back, and there we go. So as you can see here, it gives you some more trunk space. But if you want to put it completely back, just press, hold, it locks, and then check out this space. So let's get in the car, maybe let's check it out from inside. Now I sit really far to the back because I'm 1.90 m, but still, as you can see, you have plenty of leg room. So if there's a person driving the car which is smaller, you have so much leg room in this car. That's pretty cool. Now the air condition. So we had the baby here, and you know, regulating the temperature for a baby is kind of difficult, especially also if we have the dog here in the back, then it's even more difficult because the air condition, it only comes out from the middle. So there are no side exhausts for the air condition. It only comes out from the middle, and if you really want to quickly get some air, it's a little bit difficult because, well, as you can see, those exhausts here for the air condition, they're not that big. Then you have to crank it up to maximum airflow, which is also kind of noisy. You have two Type-C ports right over here to charge your devices. The pre-facelift versions of the Model 3, so my old one, still has USB-A. I'm a big fan of USB-A, not so of USB-C because I never have the cables, but kind of future-proof. And as you can see, the seats are really high. So they stand on those things, not fully on the ground, they stand here. So you are sitting really high in this car, which gives you this kind of SUV feeling, which is pretty amazing. Then facelift version, so we also have here the hooks to hang something. We don't have any, you know, what is called handles or something in the back. So when I drive with my dad, he's always like, where are the handles? And I say, dude, this is a modern car, it doesn't have any of those handles. But here also you have lights with a little press here, you can turn them on, which is really convenient to have lights in the back. You have two lights in the front, right over here. You have this beautiful glass roof, which is absolutely the highlight every time I'm sitting in the rear of a Tesla. If you're driving the Tesla, you don't feel anything from that, but in the rear, I think it's just beautiful. It gives you this feeling of being more open, and yeah, looking at the sky sometimes is really nice. Now, anyhow, as you might know, Tesla interior is kind of basic, still that vegan leather here. Then we can actually open this up. Here you have two cup holders. Need to clean that, which is also kind of convenient. I used to store the baby bottles in there. Okay, fellas, let's get into the car. So, there we go. We have the same kind of, people say it's tiny, the steering wheel, but I think it's really nice size, because with those huge steering wheels in some cars, I think it's just useless for me, you know? This car, it feels so much more handy, easy to drive with that size of steering wheel, but some people obviously prefer a bigger steering wheel. Just like the Tesla Model 3, we have the scroll wheels, left and right. Everything is the same, indicator, gear selector, kind of the same. Also like the facelift Model 3 version, we have the wireless charger right over here. Now, it works good, but with some big phones like iPhone 13 Pro Max, depending on the case, sometimes the wireless charging is a pain. Then here we have that middle thing, I call it the Tesla trash can. So in there, I'm not be able to organize in there. So there are some organizers you can put in here on Amazon I can highly recommend, and down there I just throw my trash. I don't know how else you can use that, but for me it's just a Tesla trash can. But here, this is working really smooth, and I'm so jealous that I don't have the facelift version, because the interior in the facelift version, I think it's much nicer. Here, the cup holders, as you can see, and here is another space, so it goes also a little bit in here. You can store here plenty of things. Then, what else do we have? Here is the glove box. Now, the glove box is electric, so you can also set a PIN code, which is really nice. So if you keep something in the car and you want to lock it, I just lock it in the glove box, because you cannot access without a pin. Yeah, then we have here the screen, also the same size like in the Model 3. There is still the foil on there. And yeah, on the right side, passenger seat. And here we also have the manual door release. So here we also have the button to open the door. I really like the wood interior now. In the doors. Now the pre-facelift version, you don't have that. I really miss it, because I think it's much more beautiful, it's much more complete, I would say. Electric windows. Now in the back, the windows stop here, so they don't go fully down, because some people asked about that. And the front, well, of course, they go fully down. All right, then now let's have a quick look. So as you can see, software, this is the dual motor Model Y, the performance, 2,244 kilometers. So this is really almost brand new. It has the full autonomous driving pack, the full autopilot pack. Now I don't have it in my Model 3 long range, because I think it's not worth the price, at least now for the features you have. I mean, it's kind of cool, the auto parking, the summon we could do right over here, because this is not a public road or public parking, but it's much more like of a gimmick, so I don't feel like paying that much right now. I know one day it's probably super cool and I will have to pay much more, but right now at the moment I put the money into other things, to be really honest. All right, here, let me quickly switch the car to English, because it's currently in German. All right, guys, so there we go, it's now in English, and there's a little camera. Some people asked about that camera in my last videos, and this camera is currently not on. I mean, in the future, probably it could be on because of autonomous driving, but right now Tesla is not using it, it's not collecting any data of you inside of the car, so don't be worried. I'm driving my Tesla forever, it also has this camera, and I was never worried about that. So, Tesla Model Y, you can open the front, as you can see, the trunk, you can also close it here, and this is also electric, so if you press the close button it closes. People paid a lot of money to do that aftermarket on the Model 3, but on the Model Y finally you have it. Unfortunately the front is still open, you have to go there and open, and you have to close it manually. Now the controls, as you can see, you have all the controls here. You can start recording with the cameras, you can switch on the Sentry mode right over here. All the basic things I don't think we have to go through, like adjusting the steering wheel and blah blah. Pedals and steering, so this is the performance model. That's why you have two modes. You have the chill mode, which is called, I would say, the family mode, and then you have the sport mode, which is more called the daddy mode. So I'm currently driving alone, so I really enjoy the sport mode. The acceleration of this car is absolutely crazy. We have steering mode between comfort, standard and sport. I always drive in sport mode because comfort is for me a bit too, kind of loose. It's like too soft, too slushy. So I mostly have my steering mode in sport, which gives me a much better control over the car. Stopping mode, I always use hold. That means it will blend in the brakes. So it's really convenient. Basically, I'm just driving with one pedal. Now, I rarely use the brakes. So also I really have to force myself to sometimes use the brakes, especially after the car was standing for some time, if there was rain, that there will be no rust on the brakes, because it's regenerating so good, and this auto braking is also working amazingly good. I really rarely have to use the brake, and in city traffic, this is really, really amazing. So charging, we'll talk about the range just in a second. Then we have the autopilot. So this is the full pack, as I've told you. You have auto steering, navigate on autopilot, which you can also customize. Now, speed-based lane changes, as you can see. For instance, if you're in one lane and you it's actually telling you, switch to the left lane because the left lane is fast and you will reach your destination sooner. Now, you can customize all those things here, but I rarely really drive with Navigate on autopilot because I like driving this car and I drive myself. Full self-driving visualization preview. I also have that in my car without the package. Basically shows you also the traffic lights in there and stuff like that. And Summon. This is currently a beta feature. And then we have Summon, which is basically to call your car. Now, this is not a full released feature, still beta feature, as you can see. You can also customize that. Now you can adjust the bumper clearance, the summon distance and stuff like that. And auto parking, it works really good, but I'm so much faster parking the car myself. So I really rarely use that feature, just when I want to show it to people what this car is capable of. But to be really using it myself, not really. So we have the locks. There's something cool. I'm currently using for the first time this Tesla key. It's like a little mini toy Tesla, and it's really cool because with the front, if you press it, you can open the trunk. With the rear, if you press it 2 times, as you can see, it opens the trunk. And if you press the middle 2 times, it will lock the car. So this key is so worth it. It's like 200 euros, something like that in Europe, but absolutely worth it. I will get one for my Model 3 after testing this out now. All right, here you can customize all those things, nothing special in there. Lights, display, you can see my trips right over here. So we'll talk a little bit about the range of the Tesla Model Y. Now, regarding the range, I just had to do some math, so to come to the real range with my usage, because the real range always depends on how you use the car, how you drive and everything like that. It really affects it a lot, also how are the road conditions. So over the 2000 kilometers, as you can see right over here, it used on average 191 watt-hours per kilometer. Now, this car has an 82 kilowatt hours battery, if I'm right, so that are 82,000 watts per hour. If you divide that by 191, you actually get to 430 kilometers. Now, this is the real range when I'm driving the car. So the numbers here are actually pretty good. So if it's advertised with more than 430, yes, okay, under ideal conditions, depending on how you drive the car. But with my usage, I like to drive a little bit faster on the highway. I like sometimes really feel the acceleration. So I'm not really too careful to check how much I spend. Anyhow, as you can see, we're getting to round about 430 kilometers with one full charge. Now, for me, that's absolutely enough. Now, I don't drive really long distances. If I go for a long distance trip, for instance, when we drove to Budapest or to Slovakia, a few hundred kilometers, I just stop at the supercharger, and within 20-30 minutes, I'm really again at 300 something kilometers. So the supercharging speed is super fast and the supercharging network is great. So with all those superchargers on those really good locations, It's really rare that you would run out of any juice here in Europe. And I'm just talking about the superchargers. There are many third-party chargers, but I really prefer to go to superchargers because this saves me a lot of time. Of course, sometimes it's more expensive, but I don't really mind, and for me it's really to save time with the superchargers. And of course, yeah, we have navigation, which you can customize many things, safety features. I had some weird issues on this car that the lane departure warning was always, let's say, too aggressive. Now I turned this off in the settings. This would be maybe something Tesla should check on this car. Then here we have the safety features. So here we also have the Sentry mode. Now the Sentry mode is really cool. And what's even cooler right now is that you can finally live stream the cameras from the car in the Tesla app. That's a really cool thing. That's the View Live camera via mobile app. So you can actually open up the Tesla app and access the cameras of the car. So if you want to see if something is going on with your car, if there's something, you can just open up your phone, check the cameras if everything is okay, and that's really cool. Then yeah, service things, nothing special in here, and software. As you can see, here you can do the software updates, and this has the full package, full self-driving computer. All of the Teslas have it, but this has also the enhanced autopilot feature included in the package. Of course, you can decide if you want to have that or not. All right, that's basically everything in here. I hope I could show you most of the things here. So when it comes to entertainment, well, I use my phone connected to Bluetooth to do calls in the car. That works perfectly fine. I never use the voice commands because the voice commands are too complicated for me in the Tesla, but learning the voice commands is actually really useful, especially for the wipers and for the air condition, because people in the back, they don't have any control over the air condition, and they will ask you, can you do that? Can you do that? With the voice commands, it's of course much easier. All right, then we have some arcade features. Maybe let's have a look at that. So as you can see, you have plenty of games in there. Some of them you can play with a controller, some of them even like beach buggy racing. You've seen in the Model 3, I guess, many videos already. You can use the steering wheel to play that. I mean, it's kind of fun, but after some time, you don't really use it. Now for the kids, because it's a family car, you have Netflix, Disney Plus, YouTube. Okay, maybe just for the people who have never seen that on a Tesla, but this is nothing that's connected only to the Model Y, is those yeah, kind of gimmick features. You have a colorizer right now, so if you decide to wrap your car and you don't want to have the white version right over here, you can just give it a different color. For instance, let me go to customize. You can just make it pink, metallic or something like that. And there we go. As you can see, it changes the color of your car. Now it doesn't change the color of the outside, of course, but there were some funny videos that suggested that. Then here we have light show, so you can actually enjoy some nice light show with a lot of Teslas in a row. It looks really cool. So if you press that, you exit the vehicle, you can enjoy some really cool show. Now, pretty useless, but nice to have. Then here we have the boombox. The boombox is basically that every car in Europe has to have now a speaker. Also for reversing, you have this weird kind of, sounds like some spaceship sound when you reverse. Now my car doesn't have it. I'm really happy it doesn't have it because it doesn't sound that weird, but I cannot use the boombox. And the boombox is really cool because actually you can yeah, change the sound of your honk. Now this only works in Europe when the car is not driving. So when you're driving, it's the default sound because, guys, we're in Europe. But you can just, for instance, connect any USB drive and change the sound of your honk to anything you want to. And there were some really funny videos with that. And yeah, some other gimmicks. So in terms of entertainment, it's really cool. But the only thing I'm really using is Spotify. And for that, I'm really grateful. Now, the cool thing is if you pay the premium connectivity, which you need to have anyway to have internet in the car, just 10 euros per month, then you have Spotify included. And for me, that's absolutely worth it because a Spotify account would also cost me money. Mostly I listen to music in the car. So for me, the premium Tesla connectivity is worth every cent. All right, but how does it feel to drive the Tesla Model Y Performance? So, well, I have the Tesla Model 3 long range. It's already a pretty fast car, but the Tesla Model Y Performance kicks even much more. Now, I also had the Model 3 Performance once. I think they're kind of similar to the Model Y. Probably the Model 3 Performance is a bit faster. I don't know the numbers in my head right now, but still, it's incredible, the acceleration. But most of the time, because we're talking here about the Model Y as a family car, I'm driving in chill mode, which gives you more range, is much more relaxed, and even in chill mode, the acceleration is definitely good enough. So acceleration-wise, it drives really fine. And the Tesla Model 3 has a much lower center of gravity. So if you take some sharp curves kind of, then it feels like much more stable in the Tesla Model 3. In the Model Y performance, you go like, oh, very to the outside because the center of gravity is very high. But other than that, both cars feel pretty much the same. It's just about where you sit. In the Tesla Model Y, you sit much higher, so it gives you a feeling of being in a much bigger car. And the Tesla Model 3, it feels just a little bit more sportier. But anyhow, the Tesla Model Y, especially in the Performance Edition, is still a very sporty car, and it's amazing to drive. Now, if we're talking about the autonomous features, well, we have here the autopilot. So this car has full self-driving. Now, I don't have this package on my own Model 3 long range, but I don't miss it that much. Let's say if we navigate to Vienna, we can actually do the navigate on autopilot. So it's a little button you will just see in a second, is right over here. Then you see that there is a line in front of the Tesla, and this is navigate on autopilot. Of course, always hands on the wheel, but the cool thing is that it can change lanes automatically. So as you can see, it just took here the lane to exit the highway, and this works incredibly well. So I've tried the autopilot package. Okay, sorry guys, I just switched it off. I just tried the autopilot package last year, and especially on those exits from the highway, it was much more difficult for the autopilot than now. So I think Tesla collected really a lot of data from all the Teslas which are on the road and really improved the autopilot. Now, if this package is really worth the extra price for you, you need to decide that for yourself. Now, for me, also the auto parking feature, it's kind of cool, but I'm pretty much faster parking the car myself. And auto parking, also my girlfriend, we rarely use. So it's a feature that's nice to have, especially also the summon feature is cool, but I think in the US it's much nicer, because here on most of the spaces it says summon, you cannot summon because this is like some public place. So it's maybe kind of cool to show to some friends if you call your car on a private parking lot or something like that. But for me personally, it's not worth the extra money. Other than that, pretty much the same. So we have the same steering wheel, we have the same controls like in the Model 3. Just personally, just to sum this up, the only differences I see so far is that you sit higher, that in curves, I don't know how to explain that, you really need to try it out for yourself. The Model 3, especially taking sharp curves, it just feels more sporty. But other than that, you have so much space in this car. If I sit in the back with the baby, it is just incredibly amazing. Alright guys, so big thanks for watching here until the end. Now, this was my video about the Tesla Model Y performance from the Gigafactory in Berlin from a father's perspective, because we're looking at a bigger car. I love my Tesla Model 3 long range, but with wife, with kids, when you're gonna trip, it's a little bit tight. So if you have a family, you want a big car, you want an electric car, the Tesla Model Y is a good choice. You don't need to get the Performance Edition, but trust me guys, the Performance Edition, if you're frustrated at home, you leave your wife at home, you get into that car, it's amazing. It's like a therapy. So for me, the costs would be okay, because driving this car, I always get into this car and I'm smiling when you hit the throttle and you accelerate. And it is beautiful with that wheels, of course, so the Performance Edition is really a dream. If you have any questions about the car, I could answer. So we talked about the range. Now charging, I charge at home with the wall box, but mostly I rely on Tesla superchargers. I don't have any fear of running out of juice, never happened to me, so that's complete bullshit if people say that. And other than that, also the build quality, I'm absolutely fine with that. Maybe not on the standards like a BMW 7 or 850i or any kind of that super expensive car, but the whole package with Tesla is great, and the Model Y performance is an outstanding car. So big thanks to Tesla Austria for borrowing me this car for 1 week. It really made it easier for my decision to buy a bigger car, and my next car is going to be a Model Y. Not sure if it's going to be the Performance Edition, but probably yes. Alright guys, so big thanks for watching. As always, I'm Steven from Tech Magnet, and I'm signing out. Bye!